I'm Nitya, an international Ivy League student studying computer science and philosophy. If you're a student applying to US colleges, you're probably thinking about a bunch of different things: extracurriculars, the SAT or the ACT, filling out the Common App, financial aid forms. But when should you actually do all of this? So let me break it down for you step by step with the most comprehensive timeline ever, covering everything from preparing for college, building your profile, to filling out forms, taking standardized tests, and everything in between. This might be a little bit of a long video, so bear with me, but so many of you have requested this, so I'm finally making it. The way that I like to think about getting into an Ivy League school is to think backwards. There are 8 components of your application that you need to work on during the time that you're in high school. So the way I'm going to structure this video is to talk about each component and then talk about a timeline with some specific key dates as to when you should do it. I'll also give you a free downloadable PDF calendar at each stage for you to follow. The first component is your school academic records. In school, you want to try and do the best you possibly can. I don't want to understate the importance of this, because if you have low grades, that will likely tell the admissions officers that you won't be able to handle the academic rigor in the workload at an Ivy League university. Ideally, you want to try and stay above a 90 or get A's and A stars depending on what curriculum you're in. It's also really helpful to show improvement from 9th to 10th to 11th and 12th grade. Now, I know that curriculum is a concern for a lot of people, so let me tell you this. People from every kind of curriculum every single year get into Ivy League universities. So you should pick the one that feels the best fit for you. In 9th and 10th grade, it's best to continue with the curriculum that you've been following since before the 8th grade. But if you do want to make a switch, I personally think that 11th grade is a great time. I made a whole video a while back on getting scholarships to IB schools, and I've been getting a lot of questions about timelines. So let me clarify that here. If you want to switch curriculums in 11th, you need to start thinking about it while you're in 10th grade. The scholarship applications for some schools will open in October, and then for others, they'll open towards the end of 10th grade in April or in March. But make sure that you don't miss those deadlines. Now coming to the second component, the SAT or the ACT. The best time to start preparing is the summer between 10th and 11th. I would recommend that you go on Khan Academy, start taking some practice tests, and really studying and working on the strategies and practice questions to help you improve. Why should you choose this time? Because before that, you want to be focusing on what's important, which is your 10th grade board exams. And also during 10th grade, you learn a lot of the material that you need for SAT math in school. So there's no point of preparing for the SAT before the summer between 10th and 11th, because you're just wasting time teaching yourself the content that you learn in school anyways. Now when it comes to test dates, I would recommend that your first attempt be in December of 11th grade. This means that you're going to be spending a lot of your time in November preparing for the SAT. My study schedule 1 month before involved taking 2 practice tests every weekend. Keep in mind that each practice test is 3 hours. And then I would also do 20 to 30 minutes of practice on Khan Academy every single weekday. The reason you should do your first attempt in December of 11th grade is because if you don't do well and you want to take a second attempt, you have 2 options. You can take March of 11th grade or May of 11th grade. And depending on when your school exams and things like that are, you can pick either of the 2 options for your second attempt. Now getting into AP exams. So AP exams are only offered once a year internationally. The best time to take them is May of your 11th grade. And that's because the 11th grade syllabus in most countries is sufficient to write the AP exam. So take this one-time chance that you have and prepare extremely well 1 month before the AP exams. Something that a lot of students don't know is that you actually have to register for the exams in advance, usually by December of 11th grade. So if you're taking the exam in May, you need to register the December of 11th grade before that. Registration is really simple. You can just go to the College Board website and find the procedure to get an admission ticket. But make sure that you don't miss this deadline, because a lot of people think that since the exam is in May, you can just register 1 month before. And for international students, that is not the case. You have to register by December at the latest. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's come to extracurriculars. 9th grade is your chance to explore. You should try a bunch of different things, whether that's art, dance, music, sports, student council, volunteering or coding or drama or community service. Just make sure that you say yes to as many things as possible And at the same time, in the back of your head, just think about what you like and what you'd like to continue throughout your next 3 years, and what you actually don't like and you don't want to do it anymore. When you come to 10th grade, that's the time when you should really start planning your passion projects or your big extracurriculars. Ideally, you want to have 1 or 2 passion projects that are really stand out. In most cases, they should involve a team, they should have some kind of big impact, and you should be able to show leadership among other skills through those extracurriculars. For example, you might have a citywide initiative to promote reading among school children, or for example, what I did was a science education program with the curriculum for students to learn science through experiments. This can be anything from a community service project to a club at school to a business, etc. When it comes to time, I would say that you should split it 50-50 between studying and academics and extracurriculars. If you're looking to be able to do things more effectively, I would highly recommend that you check out this video on time management. Now, when it comes to 11th grade, the first thing you want to do is really up your contributions to the things that you're involved in your school or your community. 11th grade is also a great time to get some leadership positions, whether that's in student council or in sports. A lot of the top colleges really look to see leadership. Oftentimes, if you look at extracurriculars of students who've gotten in, they have leadership in multiple things in their school. For example, National Honor Society or a magazine or a sports team. This is really the time to hone your skills so that you're capable of those leadership positions. When it comes to passion projects, 11th grade is also a really great time to scale them. Now that you've been working on them for a year, you should really think about how can you reach more people? How can you make a bigger difference using this project? You never want your involvement to stagnate. You always want it to be trending upwards towards growth and more potential. And finally, 11th grade can be a really busy time, and a personal tip for me, it's important to have a few things that you do for fun. Even on a college application, this really humanizes you and makes you so much more genuine. For example, in my school, I randomly joined the ukulele club where I learned how to play the instrument. I had no experience in it, I wasn't very good, but it's still something that I quite enjoyed and put in my common application. There is so much benefit to just try new things for fun and see where that goes. Don't get caught up in the busy grind of timelines and academics and extracurriculars and forget to just do things that you enjoy. Finally, in 12th grade, this is the time when a lot of extracurriculars will take a backseat. Focus on the ones that you still really love and have leadership positions in, but I would say that you'll need a lot of extra time to work on your college essays. So I often find that successful students make the most of their extracurriculars during 10th and 11th grade, and then during 12th grade, they just sit back a little and allow that to happen while they focus on actually writing their application. Which brings me to the next section, awards. In 12th grade, you won't have much time to compete. So my advice is start in 10th grade. If you have an award that really interests you, you can check out this video for some of the best awards in the world for high school students. If something interests you, I would say that 10th grade is the time to go for it. And that's because if you don't win or if you come close but you're still not a finalist, you can always try again in 11th grade. If you start in 11th grade, you only have that 1 year to compete, because in 12th grade, trust me, you will be busy with a million other things. The final component of your application is your essays. One of the best things I've ever heard in regard to this was something said to me by a Stanford alum, and this really stuck with me. She said that it's really hard to write interesting and compelling college essays if you haven't had diverse experiences. So before you put pen to paper, most of the work has already been done, and I think that rings so true. When you're in 9th or 10th or 11th grade, you might focus on introspection and you want to look at the prompts in some of the sample essays, because that might give you an idea of what kind of a person a college is looking for. You also want to think about what motivates you. That's something that's really helpful to know when it comes to writing your college essays. But most of all, just focus on experiences. So when it comes to 12th grade, you already have ideas for what to write about. If you're in 9th, 10th or 11th grade, I would also highly recommend building a reading habit. I think it's so important to build a good grammar, good vocabulary, good storytelling skills. So when it comes to writing your essay, you're fully equipped to write a standout essay. All through June, July and August, you want to be writing, working on your first draft, brainstorming more topics, and talking to different people that can actually help you in this process. By October 1st, I would say have your first draft or your Common App essay ready so you can send it out to people for final feedback and final edits. And finally, this ties in perfectly to the final step, which is actually applying. This summer between 11th and 12th, build your college list. have an Excel sheet with all the colleges that you want to apply to. I have a video on exactly how to do this coming out very soon. I'll link it here when it's out. But make sure you have that ready to go before school starts. Now, the common application opens on August 1st. So I would say sometime in the month of August, go to the website, create an account, and fill all of your basic details. This includes things like education, family background. They ask for a lot of personal information. Make sure you fill that out. And then as soon as school reopens, make sure you ask for recommendations from 2 teachers and a counselor. If you don't have a counselor, this is usually given by your coordinator or principal. And invite them on Common App as a recommender. All you have to do for this is just log into your account and invite them by giving their email ID. This is so important because they need time to be able to write a good recommendation. And it's also just respectful to ask for things well in advance. Now, November 1st is the deadline for most early applications. So for example, I applied early decision to Dartmouth and my deadline to submit my application was November 1st. If you're applying to any of the Ivy League schools like Harvard, Princeton, Yale, or if you're applying to Stanford or MIT, all of these deadlines are usually November 1st if you want to apply early. Except MIT, all of the other top schools only allow you to apply to one school early, so make sure you decide what your first choice is and apply there early. You'll usually hear back from the school around December 15th. Depending on what the result is, the regular application deadlines are usually around Jan 1st. So during that winter break, you're going to be working on all of your essays for your regular decision schools and then apply to how many other schools you want by that January 1st deadline. And you'll usually hear back from them sometime in April. And the final step of the process is commitment day, which is always May 1st. By that date, you have to decide where you're going, sign an enrollment form, get a free t-shirt, show some school spirit, and that's it. You're done with the college admissions process. Now you have school, final exams, your final memories, graduation, prom, grad trip. Our Goa trip was unfortunately cancelled. After that, you have a great summer and you're off to college. I hope this video helped to simplify the timeline for the US college admissions process for you. I know it's a bit complicated, so I hope this calendar system helped you all out. If you enjoyed the video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button because every week we talk about college applications, the student life, and so much more, and I would love for you to join our growing community. Thank you for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you very soon with a brand new video.